Good morning, good morning. Welcome, folks, to today's ad-free live stream. Today, we're going to be going over live price action from a very interesting day, in my opinion. We'll see what actually happens, but if you're here for the first time, my name's Tyler. I'm glad that you're here this morning. During the live streams, I'm going to be giving you my daily trading bias, giving you real trades on screen, off screen, will be probably a combination, but giving you a front row seat to all the action. If you're watching this after the stream, you can jump to the key moments using the chapter markers below. Also, if you're looking to take your trading to the next level, you can use the code DTJ and get up to 90% off. It's anywhere from 50 to 90% off your next Apex evaluation account. If you are already using Apex evaluations, right now the best discount they are offering is using your resets. So use your resets to get it's $35 for a funded account or to get an eval account if you've already had an eval account with them. Other than that, Apex, I believe, is down actually because I've been having issues with them currently. So it's going to be an interesting day. T-Loff, you, yeah, I literally just said that. So that's exactly right. I'm not sure exactly why it's down. I've looked for emails. I've looked for any type of notification. So if anybody else knows why, that would be some insight. Maybe they'll jump on stream and let us know. Which, I don't know if it's good or bad. Today is a no news day. I'm pulling up FX calendar right now. We'll see what they have to say here. So here's the FX calendar that I go to, and then you can see the calendar for today. Today's the 13th. Here's the 13th, and it's all yellow folder. So we got nothing. We just got a 2 p.m. federal budget balance, and it's, I mean, what, I doubt they're balancing anything these days, to be honest. With that, let's go ahead and I don't know why that's always on here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the higher time frame. Let's see what we got. Okay. We'll mark all of that out. Not sure if we're going to obviously be able to trade with a funded account or even an eval account these days for today. We'll see what the market's going to do. And if Apex gets everything back up and running. If not, I may just do a small funded trade. Maybe at open for a 930 model, and then if anything else sets up, we may consider that. Let's start off with the higher time frame. Weekly, we are in a new week. And right off the bat, we've ran the previous week lows. We've already ran the previous week lows. Sitting right there. The orange line is the previous week low, and then we have the previous week high. We have our monthly opening price right here, and then we have our previous month low. So we've ran both of those. In other words, price looks heavy. Now, once we've ran this previous week low, my question is, do we come back up and do a rebalance of the end of the year of this level right here? Or are we going to leave that and push lower? We have this level down here as far as sell side liquidity sitting right there. Not sure if we're going to want to run that level or not. On a daily time frame, we got a lot more stuff going on here. The main things that I want you to notice is we've ran this liquidity here. We ran this liquidity sitting right here, these swing lows, and the only one is the that low down here that I highlighted there. You'll see that level there. So we've ran 2 of those. We have this one left. But normally I like to see on the previous, on Mondays, I like to see price run for the previous week's midpoint of Friday's range. So here's the equilibrium of Friday's range. There's a high probability. I mean, statistically, it's a high number. So I like to have that. And that's sitting right here at 21,123. Do we get up there today? Be interesting. Interesting to see. We have our previous, we have midnight open marked. We have our new week opening gap sitting right here from the high and the low of the new week. It's overlapping with the previous month's low sitting right there. That, and then if we drop down even to the lower time frame, we have our opening range gap that's sitting right here that we can use also as a draw on liquidity. Are we going to hit those levels? I'm not sure. We also have our London high and our London low that has not been tagged yet. Honestly, with such a large opening range gap, ICT talks about if it's too large, we may not look to fill it right away and we may run lower. We can use this as our draw on liquidity, that last swing point that way down here, sitting at 20,640. And if we do that, then at that point we could see if it wants to consolidate or give us a little bit of retracement. So I would say right now I'm probably looking more towards the downside than anything else, just because of how heavy and how much we've moved already. Initially, I wanted to look at these levels to see if we could find support here and move higher. We didn't. We moved a little bit lower in the London session, so now we have a London low down here. And that is where we sit. So I'm interested more in downside price action than I am anywhere else. With that, good morning, Deborah, Wilhelm, T-Loft, Tony, John, morning, Tony, T, Northern, Eva, good morning, Ted. Yeah, I don't know if you guys let me know if something changes on Trade-Evade. I'm not going to be poking around on it. We'll do some price action. I mean, if we go down even lower, guys, I want you to notice something. Some of this price action looked really nice in the London session and in the pre-market right here. That I'm not sure how clean price action will be with no news today. So we've swept this low, and market opens in 30 seconds approximately. We could get some type of retracement towards this high. I can't wait to switch. I can't wait for my for quantum fiber to show up. I'm really looking forward to that. Okay, 930 was basically a break-even type style trade. Nothing major there. Let's see if we can get price to push higher right here. Let's go ahead and mark these levels. All right, we just hit a mitigation block right here. Ran this high and hit it right here. Or excuse me, we hit this level right here. So we'll see if it wants to do it again or not. Nothing we want to do here, folks. This is a lot of back and forth. No fair value gaps. We could, I mean, you could if you wanted, because we have swept some low. If we run this fair value gap right here, that could give us the momentum to see price hit that swing high. That's the fair value gap that I would be watching. Looks heavy. How heavy though? I don't know. It all depends if we get a fair value gap right here. This wick right here is, we want to watch to see if we can close through the midpoint of this wick at this point. Only 4 likes? Yeah, that's right. What's up? What's up? Judas, good morning. How we doing? Hank Flying, how you doing, my friend? Good to have you. If I had to make a bet, I think we run some of this liquidity down here. If I had to make a bet, that's what I would bet. Let's see how it closes. Let's see that retracement. See it in just that one candle. Doesn't give us much. All right, we closed below the midpoint. That's a good sign. Let's see if we can get an expansion lower. We ran right on that low. sitting right here. There's that low. I want to see it run this low and then run for London lows. If we can hit London lows, we want to watch from there to see if it wants to find a reversal or if we want to run for this liquidity that's way down here. I honestly would probably bet it runs for the 640 level. Let's see if it can leave a fair value gap right here. That's really what we want to see, is a fair value gap left. That's what we want to see left. We could come back up into this fair value gap now. This officially is our first fair value gap of the day. Your short opportunity, if you take one, I'm not saying you should take it, but it would be a institutional order flow entry drill into this first fair value gap with a continuation lower. That's how I would be interested in it. Now, because there's no news today, very low probability, maybe take just a micro, 2 micros, very small size if you want to see how this reacts. But based on the structure that I'm seeing, I think we could even run down to this low down here at 640. The 640 low. All right, there's the tag of the first fair value gap. Let's see if it finds support here, at least in the discount portion of this fair value gap. We're so close to that London low. Unless we're in high resistance. The only reason it would not run this low, folks, is we're in a high resistance market, meaning we're going to have a lot of back and forth price action, which I would not necessarily want. We got 15, 14 seconds. Let's see how it closes here. So we did close beneath it and underneath the low. That's a great sign for an expansion lower to this London low. Let's see if we can get it right here. I would say this does have the characteristics of a high resistance market. You can even see in this expansion lower, all of this is overlapped. There's not a single open fair value gap at the moment. I would like to see this expand lower. Down close candle doesn't tell us much. Here we go. Let's see if we can expand to London low. We need to get, there we go. Can we get below these lows right here? If we can't make a lower low, we could see a much higher retracement, which is not necessarily what we want to see. There we go. Come on. I did take a short from this fair value gap, just so you guys know that I'm in this. All right, there's our lower low. Let's see if we can hit the London low here. The blue line is my entry. London low is at 693. Sitting right here, horizontal line. I really would like it to run down to 640. But I have it at break even if it comes back up and stops me. There's break even. That sucks. Wasn't able to hit London lows there. Ted, no news today. Mario, everybody's having issues with Apex right now. This is a very, all right, if we can get a retest of 930, just attack, this would be a great long, I think. That's a very bullish candle. There's the tap at 930. See if he can hold there for a second. And run this high. Just for a quick scalp. These are considered an order block right here, and this would technically be a breaker. The only thing I don't like is that we haven't ran the London low. We did run liquidity though, a majority of the liquidity, other than the London low, so that's the only negative that would be to this type of trade. And it looks like it might go all the way back down. Isn't that crazy? This is why we don't really want to mess around in this market. And I'm not trading funded accounts. And if I am taking a trade, it's only a micro. A lot of volatility here. Mini breaker right here, sitting at this swing low. These two green lines are swing lows that we've had. It wouldn't surprise me if we do run higher. We have a lot of room to the upside. But I really wanted the London low to be tagged before you look for a long. How's do we know anything with Apex yet? I haven't looked at it or tried it. I do want to see if Apex did run that London low here. Apex hasn't ran the London low either. Or, excuse me, ES has not ran the London low. There's London low right there. London high right there. Tap of the fair value gap right here. Let's see if we can close above this. Guys, none of this looks interesting. I mean, it has signatures in it, but it's very volatile and not like we have to wait for a key level to be ran, and this to me is the key level. So if it runs without us, then it's going to run without us. On the 5-minute time frame, we did have a 1-minute change or a 5-minute change in state of delivery, which is sitting right here, but we still haven't ran that London low, which is right there. It's current low of day. And it's really hard to go long. We have ran our previous day low. Our previous day low is way up here. This is previous day low. We've already ran it. So normally I'm hoping to run towards the previous day low because we haven't ran it yet, but we've already ran it. We have London low down here. I guess we technically don't have to run it, but to go long, I need some type of key level for us to go long, and I don't have that outside of the London low. Do you think Apex may compensate for being down? Never, Tony. They'll never do that. They'll just apologize. Yeah, Mario, Apex. So I don't know how long Apex is going to be down for. But to be honest, it's a no-news day. I personally am kind of grateful. I'm not going to lie. I'm personally kind of grateful that I don't have to worry about do I want to trade, take a trade or not. We're just going to read order flow. We'll take a trade on my personal account with 1 micro. And I mean, I'm not looking to do anything. What today will honestly tell you is how, keep track of how many times you've taken a trade. I'm about to sneeze. Keep track of how many times you've taken a trade and see how many of those are wins. Treat today on your demo account as if you were on your eval account or on a performance account or a funded account and see how many wins to losses you have and on a no news day. Just take note. Just observe it. See how it is, and then see the benefit of potentially not taking a trade in a market like this. This fair value gap has held everything down for a little bit. Let's see if it wants to push past it and actually start moving higher. See if it finds support at 930. We have an inversion right here. Bounce off the first fair value gap. Structure looks bullish. We break above these right here. I think we can pretty aggressively run for these highs, relatively equal highs right here, if we can break above this. Breaking above this is key, though. A close above it, I should say. We need to see how this candle closes. I'm sorry. Hang on. My microphone's in the wrong spot. All right, that's a great sign right here. Let's see if we can get to run all this low resistance liquidity right here. Pretty aggressive. We got another fair value gap right here. I would like it to get back up to the previous day low. That's where I want it to reach for. Previous day low is sitting at 874. Be nice if we can reach that. All right, 5-minute just closed above there. It's fair value gap. Potential retracement here. But would love to just see it expand right now. And just be aggressive towards that target. Closed above this fair value gap. This high is already taken, so this long is invalid. But we got low resistance liquidity sitting all right here up to 842 or 846. This candle needs to make a higher high. Really want a higher high. There it is. All right. That's a good sign. Swing high 1 grabbed here. Our next level is right here. Just tagged equal highs to make it equal. Our next level is right there. We want to see that ran. And then the last of the low resistance liquidity is sitting right there. Should pop right through this. At least that's what I'd want to see happen. Balanced price range right here. Let's see if it holds inside this, the midpoint of this wick. That's what I'm watching. Do we close below the midpoint of that wick? This wick right here at 954. It looks like we may. Let's see what happens. Fair value gap right here. We'll probably run into this fair value gap. Now let's see if we can bounce right here and move higher. It could go all the way back down here, potentially, guys. $10 o'clock is coming up here shortly. Okay, I like it staying inside this fair value gap that we inversed. Retagging that inversion fair value gap. Let's see if we can find support here to move higher. If we close below this, we may give us a deeper retracement. All right, so we've ran, yeah, all right, so we've tagged this last fair value gap sitting right here. Close below this kind of invalidates the current move higher, in my opinion. Okay, we stayed in the premium portion of that fair value gap, or that inversion fair value gap. Not liking this candle here. Still watching this inversion here, seeing if we close below it or not. See if we can pop back up into it. 10 seconds. Nope. No, it did not respect it, so it did close below it. We left equal highs at this level, right? This middle red line right here. So we got equal highs there that have left. Yeah, breaker right here. Wanted to see, it would be nice if it ran higher right here from this fair value gap that we watched it break. Just a little bit deeper retracement than I wanted. See if we can reclaim this. Judas Joe, you'd rather take a short? Yeah, I totally understand. I can see, the reason why I'm okay with Apex being out is I can literally see both sides here. I can see it going longer and I can see it running lower. It's hard to ignore this candle though right here. This candle at 9:43 is a candle that kind of tells you the direction it wants to move. And then we find the support here at the first fair value gap. We find support at this breaker right here. This low, high, lower, low. Come and we touch it on that candle right there and move higher. We left equal highs above. It tells me that we have room to run higher. Not a pretty candle in the context of us moving higher. But nothing's been pretty really this morning. Target I think we're running for that I would want to look for is midnight open, opening range gap, midpoint. We also have the previous day low sitting right here. That's kind of what I'd want to see hit. See if we close above this. Okay. There we go. Let's see if we can push right through this. See how aggressive it wants to be right here. Running through these two highs that we have right here. We want to see it really aggressive here. There it is. Looking at the previous day low right here. 874 is what I'm looking at. I want these levels now to act as support. That's really what I want to see happen. I don't want it to see it come back down here. So I'm in that trade right there. My last line of defense is going to be right here. If we break below this order block, I want to see it come up to there, but if we can't find support here, I'll close this trade. Needs to reverse right now. Positions right there, the blue line. I want this to close green. I'm going to go ahead and close the trade there to prevent a further retracement and take away that profit that I had. It is a pretty decent size. It was up 30, 40 handles. Again, this is just a single micro, folks. I'm not messing around with all of this high volatility and not knowing uncertainty on where the market's going to go. It can run higher. We left London lows lower. We have our opening range gap we've partially filled. We have our equilibrium of Friday's range sitting way up here. I see the validity on both sides of the market. $22 and done. Nice job, T. Judas, 50 handles. Way to go. Yep, taking a long off that. I ended up taking that. I don't know. Let's see. It was from this fair value gap. So 782 to this order block. So it was about 50, 60 handles was that trade. Again, just a single micro. Nothing to be like, holy cow, I'm up thousands of dollars. No. None of that today. And I'm totally fine with that. I'll be right back, folks. I'm going to use the restroom real quick. Look at that sell-off. Glad I sold my position. Ted, we'll see you later, man. Let's see. Is Apex working? Order still rejected. for Apex. So still not doing anything on Apex here. Got a fair value gap right here that if we close below, could push to a swing low here. Unfortunately, you'd have to move your stop to break even because of this swing low right here fairly quickly, which has a high probability of stopping us out at break even. I like that we made a higher high and we ran liquidity, so overall it looks good, with just a very tight stop loss. Stops to break even. Let's see if it can do it without stopping us out here. Probably will stop us out. Yeah, stop at break even. I assume that that's what was going to happen. And for good reason. I mean, I don't want to deal with a big stop loss like that. Nice push lower here. Nice little breaker right here if you're interested to the downside. That would be a breaker right here. It could come all the way up to the bodies of this candle, but ultimately I think it will respect this fair value gap. We do have these fair value gaps sitting right here that it could reach up for. But if you're bearish, this is your breaker to the downside. See if it rolls over right here from that breaker. Hey Tyler, do you pull the New York Midnight Open 30 minutes range like ICT says? I did that today actually. Midnight Open right there. I don't know exactly how. I'm just putting it on just to see it reference. It did run up here in the Midnight Open, but outside of that, we are well outside the. It ran much lower than 4 standard deviations. So if he talks about it, I put it on there just to start keeping my eye on it, but I'm not changing my trading because of it. So here's how I would approach it. I have my model, I have my strategy that I'm trading that's profitable. And a lot of it is, some of it's mechanical, some of it is subjective, but it's subjective on when it seems and feels right compared to when I'm looking at the market conditions. So I'm profitable with what I'm doing, but I want to improve my trading skills. So I'll take what he's teaching and back test it, study it, review it. And if I see something that just, clicks for me, then I'll incorporate that inside my trading. But right now it hasn't clicked for me on the midnight standard deviations. Same with the 930 range, the opening range from 930, which we have right here. We have this low to this high is our range from 930. So I guess what we could do is we could run some fibs and see how low it could go and how high it could go. And 2 standard deviations does line up with the equilibrium of Friday's range. I like how that looks. So maybe that's reason for us to move higher. But he talks about how if you're going to use this, it has to be in line with your draw on liquidity. So the only thing that I'm not liking is this London low, which I can see why it would be left because it's current low of day. But if we ran this London low and then started pushing higher, I would all be in for finding that long to the Friday's equilibrium, which is way up here at 21.23. Yeah, and today is one of those days, like, I'm not mad at all that, I mean, we should be, to be honest, but I'm not mad at all in regards to not being able to trade my funded accounts or eval accounts. Maybe eval accounts, maybe I could pass it, but maybe I fail them based on the condition of the market right now. So if I look at this first fair value gap, ICT mentioned something in one of his recent streams that grabbed my attention, and it was this: the first fair value gap is significant only in regards to where your draw on liquidity is. So if we thought our draw on liquidity was the London low, when this candle came up 939, came up into here, I went short because it supported my idea of going lower. However, if they in fact are going to use this London low and leave this intact, this candle right here and this tag right here at 947 supports the idea of running these highs. That's how I'm viewing the first fair value gap. And I'm going to back test it. I haven't yet because I just recently over the weekend was watching and came across this just new insight that I want to test and back test it to see how often, if I can identify the draw on liquidity, how often does the fair value gap support that idea? Now, it would be much easier to identify that in hindsight, but you have to think about, okay, if I didn't have all of this price action right here and I only had this candle, does it support that idea? And in this case, it would. Here, if I was backtesting this, I would have said, well, this failed because the London low is the draw on liquidity. But maybe it's left for the entire day, and this liquidity up here is what's being the draw. We'll find out. We may find out right now. But that's how I'm taking and I'm learning, taking his concepts, and I'm just backtesting myself to see if there's anything that stands out that I can use to help my current strategies, my current inversion and breaker ideas. And this was a beautiful breaker right here. Low, high, lower, low. Sweep of liquidity, or ran that high, market structure shift, left this high intact, come back down, tag the breaker, run higher. Only way I'm interested in running lower is if we close below this sell side. I'm calling it sell side liquidity, but this technically would be the low fair value gap low. So I've been trading. Took me about 7 months before I came across ICT. I mean, I've been trading for I've been in and out for a long time, but I really got serious. I came across ICT April 15th of 2023. And I got serious about trading in October of 2022. So I'll be almost 2 years on ICT and a little over 2 years trading. When I came across ICT's concepts, I jumped in and I said, I'm going to learn just this. And so that's what I've been doing ever since. We close below the first fair value gap. Let's see if it supports the idea. We wick up into it. Let's see if we expand lower right now. There's a volume imbalance right here that I want to see it close below as well. I want to see this support the idea of us running down to the London lows. Fair value gap below of this giant candle right here is sitting right here. See if we can close below that in the next 30 seconds. We have our low right here. It's 702, and London lows sitting at 694. $10.30 right now. No surprise on this candle here. Tend to get manipulation at that 30 half of the hour mark. Sometimes you get wiki random candles like this, and that threw out the idea. This is why we are waiting for that close below this fair value gap low, because if we don't, then this kind of crap can happen. So all of our trade ideas kind of haven't happened yet. Interesting that this first fair value gap that I told you about, that idea to see it support that idea of running lower, that has not happened. Because David, I guess that's what I remember ICT talking about is from 3 to 5, but he also talks about the prime time is between 3 and 5. So I do the high and low of London prior to or within that range, after 3 and before 5. Oh yeah, they'll see that as support. It will be ran. That may be me, and I haven't gone back to re-listen, but I've just been doing 3, I guess. it's worked out for me. I mean, I haven't had it work against me. So I mean, it still falls within that time frame. I just don't look at anything prior to 3 o'clock. I mean, look at when this low when it started running. This is what I'm talking about. It's like that's 307. And then it starts aggressively moving. Like the biggest moves are always between 3 and 5. During London session, that is. I would say a majority of the time, I could say that pretty consistently. It does that. Here's a tag of the breaker. High, low, higher, high. We just tagged it right here. Let's see if it wants to roll over right there. Multiple bodies respecting 930. I would really want, and a wick running up to this breaker sitting right here. I would really want to see it run right now. Or drop, I should say. But we're probably not going to get that. Wouldn't surprise me. I'm just sitting here reading price action, guys, watching it. And glad I'm not actually trading. It's kind of relieving. Honestly, I would not be interested in taking this long. I'd want to see it break this high, find support above this fair value gap to then run higher if it really wanted to run higher. I say that because we're inside that range for OTE to reverse right here, and it's inside a fair value gap. Again, that's us targeting the London lows as if London lows were going to be ran. But no news day. It's just a lot of uncertainty. So when you don't know where the target is, you sit out. So this closed. Let's see if it wants to run this high. Hey, Apex is working now. Apex is up and running, folks. There's your close above this inversion right there. Oops. Pretty aggressive right here. Pretty obvious we're running for these highs. Want to see if this finds support right here. This fair value gap needs to support price if it's going to run higher. All right. If something shows up that's decent, I might take a trade. There we go. There's our expansion. Let's see if it wants to run previous day low, midnight open. Those are our first targets. All right. Got my eval all set up here. Watching right here, midnight open, opening range gap, midpoint, and then we have our new week opening gap low, new week opening gap high, and then we have our Friday equilibrium of that range. Also, if we take the 930 range and we do one standard deviation, we're sitting just beneath the new week opening gap. I like the idea of higher prices. I'm irritated we didn't run the London low, but if we can find and keep support above these red lines here, if we can get some type of inversion to the upside, I will play an inversion to the upside. That's the only thing I think I'd be interested in. You could make this a breaker here at this inversion fair value gap. You can make this a breaker here at this swing high. Either location would be fine for a potential breaker for a higher move. So we just have to wait for it to see if it wants to give us that. Again, I'm not trading my funded accounts. It's a no news day. I can just tell you just from I've been right, but I have also been wrong that I just don't want to take any of my funded accounts. So I'm only going to trade an eval account if an opportunity presents itself that's obvious. Other than that, I will sit on my hands. I will sit on my hands and I will not trade. John, what's up? What I've done to scratch my boredom itch is I bought 150K with a 90% off sale on days like this and just mess around with one micro. Totally. That's absolutely, I mean, that's a great way if you want to scratch that itch. The biggest thing is like John's saying, you got to find a way to manage the itch, or the itch of trading. And I guess there is a benefit of passing it. I mean, if you get a good trade off of that, I mean, you have a better chance you could end up passing it. I will say, though, if you do have a 150K account, after your first month, it goes to 80% off. So your monthly cost is 80% of that full price 150K. So maybe if you wanted, you could do like you could do a 25K account, which would be $29 a month at 80% off. Yeah, because I know the 90% off, it's only for the first month. I think it goes to 80% after that, Joan. Guys, this might be super boring, though, but what we're exercising is our ability not to take a trade. We're exercising that ability. It's so important to exercise this. I like this displacement. We tagged the previous day low right here. So I expect a retracement at this level. So I want to see if it can give us a fair value gap. Maybe come down here and then give us a move to the upside. We could have done it here, to be honest, but I found out that I did a test trade right here on my eval account, and it worked. And that's when I said that Apex is back up and running. I ended up closing it right away because I didn't realize that we were inverting this. I literally just clicked the button. It just happened to be around this time. So this was our opportunity to capitalize on this move. I was just getting everything set up that I wasn't able to take this or this. Exercise patience. Yeah, Trade of 8 is, according to Apex, yeah, Apex is working. It's working now. How many of you guys saw my blog post from this weekend? I tried to do one blog on Sundays that's day trading it's day trading related to scripture. So I like to take scripture and pull out of scripture the lessons for that you can use in day trading. And yesterday I did Colossians chapter 3 verse 1 through 4, which is how it talks about how your life is hidden in Christ. Check it out. It's on X. I thought it was I enjoyed it. All right, so here's that displacement we're talking about. Could give us a fair value gap right here. We'll see if it wants to leave us a fair value gap. Let's jump to a higher time frame. We haven't looked at any higher time frames. Let's see what we got. Here's the 15-minute. A lot of wicks. It's 5-minute. Let's see if it could tag this 5-minute fair value gap right here. I kind of like that. ES did run the London high. That's what I'm looking at. I do want it to hit this 5-minute. So if it inverses this prior to hitting this 5-minute, I don't think I'm going to take it. I want to see the 5-minute fair value gap tagged to find support there and then move higher from that. Same with ES. If we can get down into this 5-minute, I might do a quick scalp, a bullish scalp on my eval account. Once we hit there, I'll go long just for 10 handles, see if we can get a bounce on this. I think it has the potential to do that. If I'm talking this through, I would want this to happen at the beginning of a new candle, within the first 15 seconds of a new candle. I would not want to take it with, 3 to 5 seconds left. I don't think I would be interested in taking that, because if it closes strong low, we could get another expansion candle below that, like it is right now. See how there's 6 seconds left? Let's see what happens. If it closes above it and then the next candle tags it, there it hasn't tagged yet. So we're in the new candle. There it is. Right there is where I'd take my long. Let's see if we can get just a bounce right here. If it's not going to give it to us, I'm going to close at 20. I'll set a stop loss at the low of this candle, just so I'm not having amounts of risks here. I'll put it at the midpoint of the 5-minute. So if we stay above this in the premium portion of this 5-minute fair value gap, I'll be in this trade to see if it wants to go higher. So here's the 5-minute right here. It doesn't look like it's going to give it to us. Look at the 1 hour here. 1 hour looks just a big giant wick. Moving my stop up to the opening price of this green candle. Just managing risk. And probably getting stopped out right here. No way. Yep, so it stopped out there. Because if it went from a green candle back to red, we're probably expanding lower. So J Money, good morning. Hopefully you're having a blessed day today. We are still respecting. Look how we're respecting the premium, the discount portion, where the bodies are staying above, even the wicks right now. This is kind of what I wanted to see. It just went a little bit deeper than I wanted. $10.20. Yep. That's what Tony's talking about right there. It is 11 o'clock right now. I'm not gonna lie, the hourly looks bearish. This hourly candle wicks up, fills in this hourly fair value gap, but leaves all this liquidity down here. That does look bearish. And again, this is all 50-50 because I can see it running both ways, like I've said multiple times. That's why I'm not trading a funded account right now. The mistake I've made, and probably many of you also have made, is treating your trades and your analysis in poor market conditions as you are not doing very well, or you can't read the market. That's not true. The truth is, it's just poor market conditions and the same rules don't apply. So when it's poor market conditions and you can identify that, stay out. This is my current, not my struggle, it's my current area of focus. If I see the market sucking, I'm not going to count that against my analysis and say I'm a horrible trader. I'm literally just going to count that the market is sucking and I need to sit out. Because I can't tell you how many times the difference of one single day can be. One day, absolutely horrendous. Market looks horrible. I'm taking trades. I lose money. And then the next day, it's like I quadruple my position. Because the conditions are more favorable. So that the area of focus for me is learning to just recognize that and accept that those conditions are bad, and it's not indicative of my poor analysis. It's just the market conditions. Going back to the first fair value gap conversation in my own analysis and understanding of what ICT is trying to teach in regards to the first fair value gap, this is what I don't and haven't figured out yet. We've referenced it once to the downside, once to the upside, once to the downside that literally did nothing, and now it's just sitting there. And he references it as something significant. So I haven't figured out the significance of it. And that's why I don't use it at all. At all. Yet. Were you talking about a bullet? Yeah, you were talking about the bullish breaker. But look at this bearish breaker. We swap liquidity. Look at that bearish breaker right there. To the tick. Sweep of liquidity. It tagged the previous week and previous day low. We just closed below. I'm going to take a quick stab, see if we want to expand right here. We just closed below this fair value gap sitting right here on the 1 minute. Right there. Just now. And so I took that position, seeing if we want to run down here. See how aggressive it wants to be. Stop's going to be at break even right now. Probably will get stopped out at break even. There's that stop out at break even. I was waiting for 10 handles. It didn't give it to me, so I'll just take a stop out at break even. You also can take a retest of this. Wait for price to come back up into this level, and then you can retake it because it still hasn't ran the low. You'd wait for it to come up into this inversion. But it may be too heavy and it runs right away. There's the tag. Let's see if we can get a little bit deeper. All right. 930 price is here again. It landed and closed right on it. I want to see this candle here run lower, and if it's not, I'm just going to close the position. Because this is a trade based off of this inversion fair value gap still. Tagged midpoint of that inversion. I love the reaction from that. Let's see if we can close below the 1107 candle. Going to put a standard 10 handle stop loss in. We did not run this low yet. When we run this candle's low, your stop is moved to break even. I really want to see it close below 930 as well. I might close this, guys. That's quite the candle. There we go. Come on. Barely closed below it. Just not very good. Nothing here. Volume imbalance. Yeah. It's going to stop me out probably. Again. Look at that. What does this tell me? It tells me that I'm happy that I'm not trading my eval account. Yeah, Tony, I believe I mentioned that it's working. This still looks bearish. I'm not going to take a larger stop loss for my account. It's probably going to roll over right here. All right, folks, I think I'm going to call it a day. Just to get off. We'll be back. We will be back on Wednesday. I will not be trading tomorrow. Let's see what the news is. We have core PPI tomorrow at 8:30. Wednesday we have CPI. No, Wednesday we have CPI at 8:30. And Thursday, we got core retail sales. And then Friday, we have building permits and housing starts. Nothing significant on Friday. So we'll be back on Wednesday. We'll be not trading. I will not be on tomorrow. So I will see you all on Wednesday. Thanks for being here, guys. Other than that, we'll see you later. God bless. Take care. Stay safe. Bye-bye.